Okay, so there was a product that claimed to double memory for Windows 95, and it did nothing. So, first of all, Barney Fife can't seem to install. Barney Fife wants to use Box, which has not been debugged for 64-bit, and it's an emulator. And TempleOS updates the whole screen 30 times a second, so it absolutely will not work with an emulator. Why? There's not a market for 386 operating systems. Mine only works on a 64-bit 3 gigahertz machine. They tried to Jedi mind trick, and well, if it doesn't work with an emulator, it's too slow. No, it doesn't work with an emulator because it's not for a 386. You. So then cannot get it installed. Do you see QEMU right here? It runs in QEMU. The thinks it's vaporware. I can't believe I have to put up with that. So do this in your operating. The probably thinks it's text mode. I can tell by the graphics it's 16-bit. Goddamn. So it's text mode. It's graphics mode. I update the screen by regenerating the entire image 30 times a second. Okay, so it's graphics mode. It's not text mode. Okay, so I don't like I don't like QEMU. QEMU is about QEMU is much slower disk I/O. Has much slower disk I/O. So let's go over how you install. So first of all, they don't believe I wrote it. They don't believe it's 100% open source. So go to www.templeos.org, click on Downloads, Ultra Small Distro 1.9 meg. So now in my downloads directory, I have ultra small and it's 2.1 meg. Now I go into VMware, not Box. Box is some piece of CIA. I don't even think it supports interrupt 42A, 42 for the disk. It's sabotaged by the CIA. One of the things I do is I do a global descriptor table with 64-bit entry sizes, and there's a 0 entry every other one for well, let me show you. Okay, so first we say new virtual machine. Typical. We go to downloads, ultra small, other 64-bit. We call this ultra. We can use the default disk. Now this is critical. It needs more than 512 meg. They want to argue. Some people say, no, it'll run on 32. You lie. I assure you it needs 512 meg. No, you lie. It'll run on 32 meg. I swear that's the mentality of the... You lie. It's real mode. I'm running it on a 32-bit machine and it's not working. You lie, it's not 64-bit. You lie. So we're going to get rid of networking. There's no sound card. Okay, so finish. Okay, so you say yes, 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 install, yes, it's VMware, and then you hit a key. So it's making 2 copies of all the files, one on a C partition, one on a D partition. They think it's vaporware. I think they can't. They're trying to. They insist on using box. I don't know the fuck. Box is a CIA sabotage that doesn't support 64-bit. So this is 8 cores. Okay, so find files starting at the root, star.bin. These are all the bin files. So if there's compiler.bin, okay. Control D, we can delete kernel.bin. We can go to the compiler, we can delete compiler.bin. We can go to the boot directory. This is for making a CD-ROM. We can delete that. We need the boot sectors. Okay, so I have deleted all the binary files. Now I'm going to regenerate them with make. This is how you recompile. This doesn't make all, and it installs onto the boot sector. They used to make fun of me when I said it installed on the boot sector. They thought I was saying the system was on a boot sector. I don't know why they got their jollies, but they used to laugh and say, ha, he installed on the boot sector. Barney, Fife. Okay, so drive C, C and D, probe. Then you want number 1 for the hard drive. That's kind of weird. Okay, 1 for the hard drive. We're recompiling the C drive, and no more drives. This is how you can. You have to mount. When you recompile the kernel, it tells mount points, I guess you could say. Disk cache, no, hit enter. Default disk cache. Options, hit enter. Okay, so now find file, star bin star. The kernel and the compiler have been reproduced. It's 100% open source. I wrote a compiler, suck my and you. I'm God's chosen, it's divine intellect. And I wrote a flight simulator. Okay, so if you go Control D, here's the kernel directory. The files are compressed with LZW compression. Here's the compression algorithm. If you go to the Linux directory, maybe I didn't include that. Nope. Okay. That's kind of weird. Oh well. Anyway, we can make a new distro. So watch this. Let's go to the home directory and let's make a file. Let's modify the kernel. How about that? So let's go to the kernel directory and we're gonna make a kernel that says when it's booting the kernel, inside the kernel, watch what we're going to do. We are going to we're going to beep you. Beep, beep, beep. Okay, so this is inside the kernel. We're gonna make OS install boot on the C drive. OS drive. Make OS drive and install boot C drive. You. Make OS boot. Install C drive. C drive. C drive probe. One for hard. This will, whatever your hard disk number is. Number one. Okay, no more drives mounted. Default disk cache. Default options. Okay, now if we reboot and we press the C drive. Okay, so we just recompiled the kernel. Now we're going to make a new distro. Do distro. We're going to make a distro. F5. So we're making a distro with our modified kernel. There, we're done. Now, let's shut down. Let's mount virtual disk. Why is it slow? That's kind of weird. What the I wonder if it's because I'm capturing. I don't know. Okay, let's do the mount point. VM disk. So VM disk is the mount point. VMware Ultra. No, Ultra VDMK. And we want the first fat partition. Mount. So that's the C and the D drive. There, we just mounted the drive. Now we go to my mount point. VM disk. My distro is what we just created. We're copying it off of the C drive. And we're putting it onto into my downloads directory. Now we're shutting down. Now we're going to unmount. So we just made a distro. It's 100% open source, both the Ultra and the full distro. So now we unmount that, close. Now let's delete the Ultra distro. Manage, delete from disk, yes. Now let's make a new virtual machine. Typical ISO. Let's go to TAD, downloads, my distro. Next, other 64-bit. Let's call this my distro. Default disk needs more than 512 meg. We're going to give it 5 gig. Giving it 8 processors. We don't need networking. We don't need sound card. You don't have to get rid of those. Okay, so it doesn't have networking, doesn't have sound card. By the way, let's check the size of this. This is 2.1. So there, look at that. It's booting, and it says you. Oh, that's the. Not only is it when it boots the CD version, it says you. Anyway, so install on hard disk, yes. Are you in a virtual machine? Yes. Press a key. So we modified the kernel. We made a distro with the modified kernel. We should probably prove it's 64-bit. We proved it's not text mode. Every day the says the same. That's real mode. That's not. That's text mode. It's not 64-bit. So we have to prove it's 64-bit. So edit, test, cpp.z. Let's do ASM. Proof. Move RAX. Hello. Call. Call put chars. World. So the put chars puts up to 8 characters at a time. It's just using 64 bits for multiple put chars. So we're loading. So let's say call proof. Call proof. Escape directory. Hello world. Let's unassemble proof. So here's the 64-bit. The 48 is the 64-bit prefix, and this is there's the ASCII of the 60. Oh, well, duh. Okay. What? I'm tripping out. I guess H is 48. H. Here's 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, H is HELLO space. Okay, hello world. What do you memBIOS rep? It identity maps. It doesn't use paging. It uses paging, but it's identity mapped. So it's just like paging is not used. So this is the BIOS report. I wrote my own bootloaders. It doesn't use grub. It's 100% open source. It's 100% public domain. If you want to see the bootloaders, you can go to the Atom directory, go to optional. These are optional boot. Here's the master bootloader. Here's the partition bootloader. Here's the CD DVD bootloader. Shut up. GR circle, comma 100. What other? The CIA likes to spread lies. And you want to make a function? Let's make a function called, I don't know. No, let's not make a function. Whatever, good enough. So, shut down. Manage, delete, startup. So you can talk to God. Let's see what God says. F7. Here's what F7 is: a God word. F7 is a God passage. F6 is a song. So F7 is a God word. I'm the best programmer on earth. I wrote a 20,000 line compiler that's 64-bit with assembler and unassembler. This is Divine Intellect. It's a better version of C. So here's the compiler. It's 18,000 lines. Here's the kernel is 23,000 lines. Anyway,